Chapter 8, Integrating Ops into Development by Group 4, Zach Allen, Sheldon Foster, and Ron Silva. How to get great outcomes by integrating operations into the daily work of development. In this presentation, we'll cover creating shared services to increase developer productivity, embedding operations engineers into service teams, assigning an operations liaison to each service team, integrating operations into development rituals, inviting operations into our development stand-ups, inviting operations into our development retrospectives, and making relevant operations work visible on shared Kanban boards. So creating shared services to increase developer productivity. First, we want to create a centralized platform of tooling services that any dev team can use. The reason behind this is it lets dev teams spend more time working on functionality for the customers rather than developing their own infrastructure. The platform should be an accumulated knowledge of everyone in the company so that everyone's knowledge can be used by everyone. And internal shared service teams should always be looking for tool chains that are being widely used in the company and make them centrally available to everyone. Embed operations engineers into service teams. This enables product teams to become more self-sufficient because they'll have operation engineers on the team. It also allows the engineers to focus on the goals of the service team that they belong to. Ops engineers become more closely connected to their internal and external customers, and this has the added benefit of more easily cross-training ops knowledge into service teams.
Sometimes, maybe due to a lack of funding or resources, it isn't feasible to have an operations engineer embedded in every product team. When this is the case, a designated operations liaison can be assigned instead. This allows support for multiple product teams. Because the operations liaison is a shared resource between product teams, management will need to make decisions that affect priorities when and how the liaison interacts with each team as necessary. While this isn't as ideal as having an embedded engineer, it can still be very effective to keep teams productive and on track with their goals. Designated ops engineers should participate in team activities as often as possible. They are responsible for understanding any changes or new products and how they work, and especially how the product affects or is affected by operations. They will need to understand how to monitor and collect metrics to ensure that the product is working as expected. They need to be aware of any changes to the architecture. Will changes be needed to infrastructure to support the new product? And finally, working with the development team, thorough plans can be made to launch new features, including the changes needed to architecture and infrastructure, providing safer and more effective deployments. As mentioned, whether embedded or designated, ops engineers should participate in team activities and rituals as often as possible. This allows for greater understanding of the work, resulting in added value and more effective outcomes. As each team player understands and fulfills their roles and duties, the goals of the team as well as the overarching goals of the organization can be achieved. We will be discussing in more detail 3 specific development rituals. They are development stand-up meetings, usually held daily, development retrospective meetings, usually held after each development interval, and the use of shared Kanban boards.
Invite operation into your development stand-ups. The objective of this meeting is to make easier the transfer of information and collaboration among the team members, to increase their productivity and highlight the points that they can help each other. Having an operation on the attend to this meeting can help to have a better knowledge of the dev team activities. It can also help to solve problems and avoid the future problems. Each member of the team inspect the work that the rest is doing. At the end of the meeting, they can make the necessary action. Maybe they can have more ideas how to improve and how to achieve the team objectives. Each member of the team must answer these questions. What was done yesterday? What is going to be done today? And what is preventing you for getting your work done? These meetings are very effective when all part of the team, the managers, can come together and they are stand because this meeting don't have to be long. Uh, just a few minutes is fine.
Development retrospectives are meetings held at the end of each development interval. The purpose of these meetings is to give all team members a chance to review and discuss the last development interval with the goal of improving our effectiveness and quality of work. These discussions should focus on what was successful, or in other words, what did we do right? What went well? What should we continue to do? What could be improved? Or in other words, what was not successful? What caused problems? What can be done differently? Were there any delays that could have been avoided? What were some of the obstacles we encountered? How to incorporate improvements. Team members should work together to plan and determine the steps needed to incorporate any improvements and who should take ownership of ensuring that they are implemented. Reviewing previous experiments. Using metrics throughout each development cycle and experimenting with how we do our work is important for improving workflow. Retrospectives are the perfect place to review the results of these experiments and determine any course changes needed based on those results. Outcomes and resulting learnings. Finally, discussing anything else that was learned or noticed adds value to the discussion and will bring to light insights and perspectives that could influence how we do our work.
Make relevant operations were visible on shared Kanban board. The term Kanban has become part of the Agile methodologies, whose objective is to manage in general way how the tasks are completed. Kanban is a Japanese word that means a visual card. When kan is a visual, ban is card. The main advantage of this methodology is that it's very easy to use, easy to update and assume by the team. In addition, it stands out for being very visual task management techniques, which allow to see all the guidance, the status of the project, as well as a guide to development to work in an effective way. And it's important to put part of the operation on this board. That would help the product to follow up the step to production and achieve to complete the final project. In conclusion, platform created by operations support the dev team to be more productive. Operation engineer into dev team bring great benefit for both team and for the customer. Designate operation engineer liaison allows supporting more product team. Operation need to integrate into the dev team, participating in all their daily work. The objective of this stand-up meeting is to facilitate the transfer of information and collaboration between the teams. Operation engineer can contribute with good feedback at the end of each process in the retrospective. And Kanban board allow the work to run satisfactorily from the beginning of the project until it is finished. This was our presentation. Thank you very much.